What up, everybody? This is DJ Marcus J, aka Mr. Block Party, and welcome to another episode of the Metaversal Mindset Podcast, brought to you directly from VR. And today I am sitting here with a very special guest. I have known this person in VR for several years. I've seen them do amazing things in the space. I could start talking for the whole length of the show, just telling some of the stuff that they've done, but I would still miss something. So I've learned a lesson. I am going to ask our guest today, the one and only girl. Sorry, my headset just went black for like 2 seconds out of nowhere. Not a black box. It just completely went.
You coined out.
Okay, so at least you saw it. This is VR. Things like this happen. So now I do have lower power, but not enough that we can't make the show. So I'm keeping all of this. I'm not editing this out. These are the things that happen in VR. So let's rewind this some. I am sitting here with the one and only CityGirl. CityGirl, thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for putting up with that previous blooper or whatever you were. I don't even know what it was. My headset just blacked out. But thank you for being here. Can you do the people a favor? At least do me a favor. Tell the people about yourself.
Thank you for having me on, Marcus. So I am Citygirl, and I have been in VR for 4 years now. Absolutely love and embrace all of the things that I've learned in here and that I've gotten to experience. In my real life, I am a huge advocate for pit bulls, and I am actively involved in dog rescue, and I run a nonprofit for canine cancer research and treatment. So dogs are a big part of my life. I came into the metaverse during COVID, but it was basically because I was looking for some interaction and entertainment and found that that is not what this is. This is actually opportunity and lifestyle and a actual place of growth and both self-growth and development. And so now here I am, and I'm doing some event hosting, running a podcast, bringing my nonprofit here into the metaverse, and meeting an incredible amount of amazing people.
It is funny because I hear different stories as far as what brought people into the metaverse. Of course, from outside as we like to say, IRL or outside the headset, however you choose to call it. Just like you probably just heard my phone in the background, IRL or outside the headset just ringing. So now it's actually turned off. So we won't have that happen. That is blooper number 2. This is going to be an amazing show. I already know.
Wait till you see number 3.
If not number 4 as well. So my purpose of mentioning outside the headset, there's different reasons for people coming inside the headset. So for instance, me, I have been a DJ, hosting events, doing a lot of stuff outside the headset, and came into the headset in order to do that. But then I know there are a ton of people who maybe their experience may be the complete opposite. Maybe they've never hosted events in real life. Maybe they've never even thought of doing it, or maybe they have. So I'm going to throw this to you. Which one of those would you say you fall into?
Well, I'm a little bit of both. In the real world, as I mentioned, doing all the things with dogs, being part of rescue for quite a long time, I hosted events, adoption events and awareness events, and also for my nonprofit for the canine cancer. My downfall was I was not a good speaker. I was more of a behind the scenes. I coordinated everything, soup to nuts, for every event that came up. I, got all the people, the dogs, the venues. I did everything that needed to be done, but I wasn't a speaker. And when I started the nonprofit, the first year that we did our big walk, I had to get up and talk in front of people, and I was shaking. I was sweating. I was nervous. I was like, I can't do this. Every time I talked, my voice cracked. And I said, I need to get better at this. And no matter what I did in my house to try and practice in front of the mirror, it didn't matter. Getting in front of people was so intimidating. So when I came in here, I actually got recruited by Blockchain Universe. Jerome asked me to come host a show for him. And I was super excited to do it because I was excited about the technology and learning because I love to learn. That's a huge thing for me. I always want to learn new things. So he asked me to come host, and I was like, yeah, sure, this is great. And I'm thinking, okay, well, it's behind the headset. I'm not really talking to these people. I'm just talking. It's no big deal. And I learned really quickly that's not the case. It's very real in here. It is so real because when I was up there and I was hosting and I was like, oh, we're going to meet with so and so today, blah, 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 people are asking questions. Now I have to interact. And it's like, oh, I didn't anticipate that. I thought I was just going to get up and talk. And very quickly, I had to adapt and learn how to interact with the public that was there and to interview the guests and actually make eye contact. And I know that probably sounds strange to the viewers because how can you make eye contact when you're not actually there? It's a very real thing. When I'm looking at you and you're looking at me, I can tell if you're paying attention or if you're doing something over here or looking around the room. I can tell that we're connected. So I actually developed my public speaking skills immensely from doing podcast in here, which led to me being far more successful next time around when we did our annual walk. And I got up in front of people, and we're talking 100 people standing in front of me in this big field. And I stood on top of the picnic table to project my voice and throw it out there.
And throw confetti.
Well, blooper number 3. And, actually talk to people and engage with them and share my emotion about the topic of canine cancer. My voice still cracked when I talked about the emotional parts, but now it was not out of nerves. It was because of my emotion was coming forward to the crowd.
I can't emphasize it enough. I've heard MetaClean Rupert and a host of other people say it in here. There are so many opportunities, so many skills that you can develop by just coming here into the metaverse and spending some time and embarking on journeys that you may not have thought that you would have done, say, outside the headset. And you kind of never know where you'll end up. So something tells me, based off of your previous response and how you felt before you were doing a lot of public speaking, that it must have been a jump for you to do your own podcast. So let's talk about your particular, that could be considered blooper number 4. So let's talk about your own podcast. And I call it a podcast. I'm going to actually let you describe how you call it a show. Because to me, I look at it as a podcast, but it's a little bit of a show, almost like a late night type show, but it's not a comedy, it's educational. So let's talk a little bit about Crypto City and what you bring to the people.
Thank you. So Crypto City is my little baby project that has grown immensely. When I was doing the previous show and hosting, I was really passionate about everything we were talking about. And people would come up to me afterwards and say, I love your show. I love watching and listening to you guys. I have no idea what you're talking about at all. And I was like, that's okay. Neither do I. I'm learning right along with you. So I decided to leave that show and start Crypto City to be an educational place that people could come and learn the basics. So season 1 of that show, we came on and we gave definitions on one of the first episodes. It was like, this is what a blockchain is. This is what an NFT is. And it was so basic, but it was necessary to put that out there because imagine this, way back then, which was really only back in 2022, this stuff was still new to most people. The stuff we talk about every day now, people had not even heard of. And so when you say, is it a show or a podcast? I think I started it thinking it would be a gathering show, but it quickly turned into a podcast because I started uploading it to YouTube and we started having more business interest in it and more people wanting to come on and talk about what they were doing here in the metaverse. And so I do believe it's a podcast and that's how we promote it. And we've actually, started out with very basics, like I said, teaching people different concepts. Let's talk about blockchain this week. Let's talk about how to create an NFT or a POAP and all these different things. But then we started bringing guests on to talk about how they learned what they do, the resources they could share with the community. And that is the basis of this show, is to bring people on. And now I very rarely host an entire show by myself as educational. It's mostly other people coming in and sharing what they've learned. And the nice part about that is that we are seeing people from all walks of life come in here and literally talk about, I came in here with my business from the real world, developed it in here, and I am conducting business and monetizing here in the metaverse. Then we're looking at people from the complete opposite side who are like, I do XYZ in the real world, but I came in here and I was able to find all these other opportunities and start doing something really cool, like hosting events or doing game shows and, creating worlds, because I was like, oh, I love this world. I want to make one like it. And people are learning skills, but they don't even realize half the time that they're actually developing their resume and their portfolio tenfold with the things that they're doing in here, even if it is for entertainment purposes.
So I have to say two things behind the scenes. One, Mr. Block Party Radio, we're blessed to actually have Crypto City be a show on the station, show on the station, and it's actually on Monday through Fridays, 11 a.m. Eastern. Two, I'm actually part of the Crypto City family, working behind the scenes. So I kind of already know the answers to these. I already knew how she was going to classify her show, but I'm kind of asking this from the standpoint, because every so often in the community, I'll hear people say that. Is it a show? Is it a podcast? Mm-hmm. So I do like the way you explained it.
Thank you.
Now, also, speaking of explaining something, we're going to give you a chance to be educational. You mentioned POAPs, and I know for some who come to your show, they get a chance to get a POAP. Can you tell the people what a POAP is and why they would want one?
Sure. So POAP stands for Proof of Attendance Protocol. So it's POAP. And I was introduced to these by a gentleman in here named Boxman. And he used to stream gaming. And he would collect POAPs from worlds that he went to within the games. So I asked him what it was. And he said, basically, in the old days, people would go to concerts or events and you had your ticket, an actual ticket. Now everything's digital, but back then you had a paper ticket, and you'd walk in and they would take your ticket and they'd rip it in half and give you back the stub. And that was basically a commemorative thing so you could say, I was at this show way back when, So the POAPs started out as basically saying, I was at this event, and it's a digital asset that technically is an NFT, which is a non-fungible token that is a digital asset. Now, whether or not it has value behind it depends on how you build it. For our show's purposes, these are mostly just a commemorative thing saying, hey, I was at the show. However, what the POAP shows is that the date of the show, what the actual name of the show is, and a description of it. When I create these links, they're actually done a little different than a regular NFT, because NFTs people can create in all different platforms and upload, whether to OpenSea or to another platform, and people can go on there and they can download them, buy them, all these different things. With a POAP, they're only really done on this one website that's governed by the POAP agency. And they regulate very strictly what the requirements are to create these POAPs. They'll reject them if they don't like what you did. So they can either be round or square. Most people do round. It's a little circle, and you have to have, every single one has to be different. So for each week, we do one through Crypto City, and it says Crypto City. It says the date, the description of what the show was, and an image from the show. Now, if Marcus has been on before as a trainer and as a guest, either his logo or his likeness would be right on the actual POAP. And when I create them, I ask for X amount of links, depending on how many people are in the audience. And I know there's certain people in the audience that actually collect them and certain people who could care less. So for the people who collect them, I send out a link to them each week after the show, and they can click on it and they can actually go in and mint this NFT. And if they want to, they can even download them into their wallet. If they have an NFT, crypto wallet, they can put it right into there. And so for myself personally, I have one from every event that I've done. I also have them from certain side events that we've done. We did one where you and Second Life Rich and myself did an educational metaverse marketing training in the middle of the summer off season from Crypto City. And I did a little POAP from that I could send out to people if they wanted. So we do lots of little things like that. And POAPs are really just a collectible.
I like that explanation because there's a lot of people too, again, I've heard in the community have no idea what a POAP is. So I just wanted to make sure that they knew what it was. And two, not just that, but potentially why you may want POAPs. And not just POAPs, but POAPs from Crypto City.
Mm-hmm.
So I know, again, from being behind the scenes, Crypto City is coming up on almost 100 episodes.
Right.
So
oh,
congratulations and salute
Thank
to you
you
for doing that, because that is a ton of dedication to get to that milestone.
Thank you.
So to hit that milestone, you've had a lot of shows, a lot of people that you've spoken to, a lot of things that are happening. So I'm going to say during your podcasting journey, where would you say that VR allows you to connect with your audience in a way that maybe traditionally you wouldn't be able to do it outside the headset?
I think it actually has benefited in a couple of ways. The first one is the wide reach of people that I get to interact with because of time zone issues, people all around the world. I mean, I get that most people keep a normal schedule, but a lot of the people who function here in the metaverse actually keep different schedules. So even though I'm in the Eastern time zone, I know people from Europe. I know people from Asia. I know people from Australia. I know people from all over the world that I interact with in here and that have been on our show. I mean, Aussie guy who's been a guest on the show and also done a training on the show.
Guy.
Yeah, he's amazing. And he's in Australia, obviously, Aussie guy. But his time, I mean, he's completely opposite of us time zone wise, but he has actually changed his schedule to come in and interact with people here in the metaverse. So that is pretty amazing in and of itself. So I would say the interaction that we're allowed to do throughout the whole world is amazing. And I would say the other way that it has really allowed me to interact is because I'm bringing people on who are doing different things here in the metaverse from all different realms. In my day-to-day real life world, I don't really get to interact with people outside of my little bubble. So it has really opened up opportunities for me to meet people, for me to do events with people, to create with people, and to socialize in a very productive way.
Okay. With Crypto City, what would you say are your future plans? Of course, besides actually hitting the 100th mark. But other than that, what do you say are your future plans for Crypto City?
Well, we've been in 3 platforms. We've been in AltSpace, Spatial, and VR Chat. The first goal would be to get it over here into Horizon Worlds. That would be amazing. So season 6 is starting in January, and the 100 episode will fall within season 6. So season 7, I am actually targeting to do season 7 in Horizon Worlds, which would be great. The other goals, the short-term goals, is I really want to bring more trainers on. We've been doing 1 training per month. I would love to be able to bring in some higher caliber trainers, but I don't mean that like personnel wise. I mean people who could teach more into our audience, not just what they know how to do, but actually bring in people who could do step-by-step trainings for the people who are just starting out, because we're about to hit the end of the year and a lot of new people are going to get quests over Christmas. We don't want to necessarily take a step backward and go back to the basics, but I would love to do some side trainings where maybe once a month we have an off-show training for the Crypto City community for people to come in and learn some of the basics and learn how to start growing, and then keep the regular trainees going on for the people who are already immersed.
I like that. I like that. Thinking ahead.
Mhm.
So let's talk again. As we started the show, we say there's many endeavors that you actually involved outside the headset as well as inside the headset. So before we go any further, let's spend a little time talking about Kyle's legacy. So before we even talk about Kyle's legacy here in VR, just tell us about Kyle's legacy in general, the
Okay.
origins and what it is.
So, Kyle's Legacy is a 501c3 nonprofit that raises funds for canine cancer research and treatment. The research is done at the Baker Institute at Cornell University in Ithaca. And the fundraising is done all in Massachusetts and Rhode Island for the most part, as far as events go. But we offer financial aid to qualified families in Massachusetts and Rhode Island who need diagnosis or cancer treatment for their dogs. It started because I had 2 dogs and both of them had cancer. And we ended up going through 5 rounds of cancer, 3 different types. It was heartbreaking. And I've ultimately lost both of them to cancer. So when I lost Kyle first, I wanted to do something to help other people who are going through this. So I started Kyle's Legacy. And it started out as just a walk throughout the course of the, once a year we were doing a walk. And I said, we need to do more. We need to raise more funds because there's more and more dogs getting cancer. 1 in 4 dogs get cancer each year. And I'm sorry, 1 in 4 dogs get cancer. And each year, 6 million dogs are diagnosed with cancer. So we definitely have a problem at hand. Now, research is being done phenomenally, and they are coming through with amazing treatments, clinical trials, and breakthroughs consistently. But it's still a problem. So until our tagline is, Kyle's Legacy Inc., until there is a cure. We are here to continue working as long as we can until a cure is found. My goal is that I don't want to be needed someday. I do not want to have to do Kyle's Legacy. I want them to find cures and better treatments so that I can step away and just enjoy a dog's life. So
I like to hear that. And I know a lot about Kyle's legacy because I know about some stuff that's happened outside the headset as well as inside the headset. If you can give me just one brief moment, we actually had one of my favorite people in the Metaverse stop into the studio. He didn't know we were in the middle of the podcast, so I'm still going to invite him in here, but I'm just going to ask him if he can just be on mute. But this is my guy, Red Dog. Red Dog, I'm trying to make sure I don't hit the wrong button because that would be another blooper if I did, and I don't want that blooper to happen. And for some reason, our script isn't working. So that may be blooper number 5. It is that kind of day.
It's okay.
It is that kind of day, but we'll keep it. Tell you what, unfortunately, Red Dog, I can't invite you into this part though, but if you can stand in that area, you can still vibe, but it's great to see you. This is a gentleman who I just happened to meet. I was filming a promo one day outside of City of Adam. Shout out to City of Adam. And as I was there, few people just walked into the world. He was one of them. And I was great to ask him, like, can you guys kind of keep it down as I do this program? I'm like, you know what? Forget that. Let's keep this real. So they were like saying ad-libs and all kind of stuff in the background. So it was a super fun promo to do. Shout out to my guy, Red Dog. I wish the script was working right now, but I'm going to have to take a look at that. But going back to what I was going to say here before. So I know of some of the stuff that you've done with Kyle's Legacy outside the headset. But going back to Altspace was the first time that I actually saw you getting a chance to bring Kyle's Legacy into VR. So can you tell the people a little bit about that?
Yes, I had a vision to bring it in here to spread awareness. And a friend named Stovert, he created a world for me that was phenomenal. It was so beautiful. It was a stage for us to talk and share. And there was even a beautiful rainbow bridge that went up with music playing. And it was a great place to have a couple of awareness events. And then we actually progressed and created a platform above the world and had a concert in there. And this was actually a little different than most of the concerts we see in here. That this one was actually streamed live so that people were at home performing live on video. So people in the audience were watching them up on screen live performing. And we did that concert. It was amazing. And that was the start of it. When AltSpace closed down, Stovert brought that world over into Spatial for me so we could have a platform there. And then now we've been trying to grow it into both VR chat and Horizon Worlds. And shout out to Marcus, who built an amazing concert world for us right here in VR chat so that we could hold a concert this year, which was amazing. We had a bunch of new talent in there. We had people like the Bay Misses and Kawan Kempachi. We had Ramrock. We had Mike Lowry. It was just like nonstop artists up on the stage. Yo Afro came in and performed with us. I mean, it was just so much fun. And now we're actually branching out into Meta Horizon worlds, and we have a Kyle's Legacy world over here that Gala Giant has built for us. And we've already held one event, and we're going to hold more. And we're spreading awareness. We're holding fundraising events. I have an amazing team. Marcus, you're on the team. Blue Moon, Fuchsia, Loudfire, and Gala Giant are all on the team to help me promote Kyle's Legacy in here to spread awareness to people. Because you know what? Most people have a dog or a pet that they love very much. They all know how much it would hurt to lose them to the cruelty of cancer. So hopefully this is helping people understand. But for those who actually go down that journey, we are here to offer support and kindness and compassion to help them with the journey that they're on.
So I know you said that you do have a newer world that's here in Horizon,
Yes.
Meta Horizon.
Yep.
So Kyle's Legacy has a presence here.
Mhm.
Again, as you said, it has a presence in VR chat,
Mhm.
spatial as well.
Yes.
So do you have plans of expanding this to other platforms? Or I would say, do you have plans of maybe finding ways to maybe host different events here that kind of centralize, so to say, maybe across the platforms? Not, of course, now we all
Mhm.
know we can't throw an event like in Horizon. Well, technically you can, you just wouldn't be able to jump back and forth from them. But you
Exactly.
necessarily couldn't hold an event in Horizon and VR chat at the same time if you're expecting people to really jump back and forth. But do you
Mhm.
maybe have any plans of, if not maybe expanding to other platforms, maybe doing an event where, hey, maybe an hour in the same day, like it starts off in Horizon and then maybe
Mhm.
it goes to VR chat and maybe it goes to space, whatever the case may be. Have you ever thought about doing things like that?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not opposed to expanding into other platforms, but right now, my goal is to focus and grow them within the three platforms that they're in right now. I think that that is a good idea because I want to get a good foundation. But going forward, I would love to do an event that's multi-platform. I think that would be perfect. A good way to get a lot of different audiences and a great way to spread the word to the most amount of people.
Now, again, when you're a host of one show, interviewing a host of another show and you know that person, I already knew the answer. I knew there weren't any other platforms. But my purpose for asking that is sometimes when people come into here and they look to do things in the metaverse or VR, I should say, I won't say metaverse, I'm going to say
Mm,
virtual reality. There's so many platforms out here. And a lot of times I hear people think, oh, I need to be on 10 different platforms. And it's like you spread yourself too thin. You're
yep,
basically might as well not even be on the platform. I would
absolutely.
say learn one platform, spend time on multiple ones, learn one platform, maybe hit a second one and kind of go from there. So
Absolutely.
again, we had a chance to be on a few different platforms. Unfortunately, as you said, all space that we lost, that decision was made for us. We didn't make that decision. So
True.
it actually caused us to branch out into other platforms from there. So
Alt space forever.
all space.
OG crew.
March 10th.
Uh, you know what, though? I will say, as far as alt space goes, we all miss it. We all thought of it very fondly. It brought a lot of us together. It created a lot of things. The best part about alt space, even though it's gone, was the fact that it gave us a deep-seated love for virtual reality to want to carry on and do more, because and to bring back that culture from alt space, because alt space was absolutely a community culture. And I think before alt space closed, we thought of places like VR chat as a place to go play some games, have some fun for a little while, and then go. VR chat has now become very community centric, and Horizon as well. A lot of the people that left AltSpace came over in a cluster to Horizon and started working together. So we got some good core values. So although it's gone, it left a legacy behind.
A nice way I like to describe alt space is to say it taught us the possibilities of nothing else.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
In some ways, it spoiled us. I have to say that.
It
We had
did.
other platforms, and maybe we, for instance, I use myself. When I first came over to Horizon, I wasn't able to DJ. So I was kind of like, oh, well, I guess I will catch you all later. But then as the opportunities, became evident that I could DJ over here, that brought me over here. I got a chance to spend more time with the community over here. And then I got to see the possibilities over here and a lot of the amazing people, just like my guy out there, Red Dog. Let me see. As a matter of fact, just for Red Dog, and I don't even do this normally.
Too funny.
So, as I promised you before, I'm going to ask you, is there anything that you want to tell the people, any of your endeavors that you want to do? Before you do that, I am going to ask that there was a concert. And again, you mentioned that concert, but how can people see that concert? So I do want to ask that before we go any further. But then after that, I do want you to tell the people about your future endeavors, anything that you want to share with them going forward.
Sure. So I do have a YouTube channel, CityGirl VR. And if you go on YouTube, you can watch episodes of Crypto City. You can watch the concert. You can actually watch previous other events like the Metaverse marketing training that I talked about earlier. There's a lot on there. You can also follow Kyle's Legacy if you're interested on YouTube, because that also has all the other concert and the one we most recently did. So you could check that out. As far as future endeavors, well, first of all, I want to continue on with my amazing team at Crypto City. I absolutely love what we do there. Marcus is on the team, Blue Moon, Loudfire, and Kip. All of you guys helped me immensely get this show, up and running, keep it growing. I want to keep going with that. I do want to continue developing Kyle's Legacy in here, but I also am very open to other opportunities in here, such as right now, I'm actually actively involved with Marcus and the team putting together a movie. And I'm super excited.
I was trying to skate and not talk about that. I'm sorry. Not in a negative way. I was just trying to. No. It's cool. It's cool. If you notice, I didn't bring it up in the topics beforehand. No. No. It is absolutely fine to talk about it. Say whatever you like about the movie. I just, again, you know how we talk about self-promotion sometimes. So I didn't mention it from out of my mouth because I didn't.
I'm promoting.
So that's why.
It's an opportunity. It's one of those things we talk about where opportunities are presented to you. And, I got offered the opportunity to come in and read for a role, and I got lucky and got chosen for the role. And I'm super excited about this opportunity. Like, I can't wait for, we're in the middle of filming right now, and it's a super exciting thing. And I'm hoping that there will be more opportunities to do things like that, because here we are talking to somebody who was afraid of public speaking, now acting and absolutely loving it. And am I great at it? Probably not, but I'm loving every moment of it. It's super exciting. And I love being able to read about the character and develop it and run with it. So future things like that, I would love to be involved with. And I still want to host more events. I love hosting events now. That is one of my very favorite things to do, and not just coordinate them and build them. Like we actually have New Year's Eve coming up. And, that's going to be a huge event that I'm helping out Marcus and Kip with. And I am loving every moment of it. Tink is helping out, and we are all working together to bring in entertainment and to give everyone in the metaverse an amazing New Year's Eve party that they can attend. So we have an awesome musical artists, we got DJs, we have everybody coming together. We have hosting team of a bunch of people that, work in VR doing this regularly and coming in to help make this be productive. So for me, I want to do more of those kinds of events. I want to work with the creators and the developers in here and be part of amazing teams doing big things. I'm enjoying it.
Well, that is good to hear. So she did mention it, so I'll at least throw it out there, just a little piece of it, because again, I didn't want to do any self promotion.
Go for
But
it.
we've had a chance to actually begin production on an original screenplay here in the metaverse. So we are beginning, or have begun, I should say, production on a film. We've had 6 amazing people here that I've had a chance to meet in the metaverse. That I can honestly say there's a great chance I wouldn't have crossed paths with these people if it wasn't for VR. So these 6 people are coming together. We are filming a movie here. Should hopefully have it released or viewing for you here sometime next year. But you know what? Since I feel bad if I don't do it. Shout out to Citygirl. Shout out to Fuchsia. Shout out to Anadi. Shout out to Empress. Shout out to Koan Kampachi. Shout out to Payne. Did I say everybody? I'm gonna be so mad if I miss somebody's name.
G Deuce.
Well, G Deuce is part of our production team, so we're going to say
Blue
shout
Moon.
out to
Yep.
Blue Moon is part of our production team. We have a host of people that's a part of this whole project. So once we have a little bit more details, we'll go ahead and bring that out to there. But I would say more importantly, I really want to talk about New Year's Eve. If you haven't had a chance to party with us in the past, this could be your first year. There are a ton of people that come together. As Sadie said, a ton of artists, a ton of DJs. We got some special stuff this year that we've never done before. So I'm telling you now, get ready. We got some new stuff to bring. We try to always level up. So thank you to everybody that's a part of the team. It's always nice to work together with everybody, a group of us coming together on some super friends type stuff. You can do this in the metaverse. I promise you, you can do this in VR and do some amazing things. So
absolutely.
Well, I tell you what, City Girl, I definitely want to thank you for coming through. So I'm going to kind of close it out on my end with that. But I'm going to say, is there anything else that you want to share with the people before we get up out of here? And that may be blooper number 5. I keep randomly grabbing the panel. And anything you want to share with the people?
The only thing I would want to say is thank you to all the people that I have met in the metaverse that have helped create a better life for me in my social arena, my business arena, and my personal arena. Like I have family in here in VR, and I also have made some amazing friends, but I've really found people who build you up and tell you, let me help you. Let's grow. Let's do more. And for those people that are in my life right now, I am so grateful for them. And the friendships that I have in here are real. And if for anybody who's out there and thinking, well, yeah, no, you're just in there playing with your cartoon friends. No, everyone in here is 100% real. And it's made my whole life better being in here.
That is an amazing thing to say, an amazing thing to hear. Now, I do have to say, the reason why she's able, at least in my opinion, to make that statement is because there's a lot of times I've heard Metaclean, a lot of people say this, and I keep throwing out people, names who I know I've seen them do this actively, but you have to find your tribe in here, right?
Yes.
When we're referring to working with amazing people, and everybody that's in here has something amazing about them, right? To some form of fashion. Whether you recognize it or not, whether you appreciate it or not, it doesn't mean that everybody in here doesn't have something amazing about them. But it's just like, again, we say we're people behind the headsets. So just like outside the headset, for whatever reason, everybody may not get along. The same thing may happen here as well. But again, you find your tribe, you find the people that you rock with, and keep pushing forward. I promise you, amazing things will happen for you here in VR. Speaking of
Mhm.
tribe, speaking of amazing people, shout out again to Red Dog. Again, City, I want to thank you for coming through and being a part of the Metaversal Mindset Podcast. Spoiler alert, she'll probably be on some future episodes because, again, some of the many endeavors that she's mentioned here, we want to bring her back on to talk about some fitness stuff that we haven't even went into, as well as some other things. And I do have one more question, just to make sure if someone wants to donate or contribute to Kyle's legacy, what should they do?
You can either reach out to me directly to get contact information, or you can go on Instagram under Kyle's Legacy Inc. You can go on YouTube, Kyle's Legacy Inc., or you can go on Facebook for Kyle's Legacy Inc. There's another Kyle's Legacy, which is why I emphasize Kyle's Legacy Inc. You'll recognize it right away. It's got a purple and gray logo with, a heart, a paw, and a purple ribbon. And that would be amazing if people want to get involved, because, as you know, donations are always accepted and always welcome and so appreciated. But if you want to become part of the team and help spread awareness, please reach out to me as well, because I welcome volunteers just as much, because without the help of spreading awareness, we won't get the word out there. And the mission is to educate.
There you go. You heard it directly from City Girl. Again, City Girl, I want to thank you for coming through. Thank you for being a part of the Metaversal Mindset Podcast. And until next time, everyone, stay safe. Peace.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you.